There are some other ways to test this. This is called the vertical line test, which is a very easy way. If the coordinate points or the inputs and outputs, the x's and y's, are represented on a graph. So the vertical line test simply means that the vertical line cannot pass through more than one point on the graph. If it does, it is not a function. So we have a vertical line here, and we have our inputs and our outputs, our x's and y's, and we're going to check to see if those relations are a function. So I just take my vertical line, and that only passes through one point, passes through 2 points here, one here, and one here. So by this passing through the 2 points, this is not a function. Not a function. So this is false. Okay, this relation here does not represent a function because 2, the input on the x-axis, passes through 2 different points on the y-axis. So we have a couple more visuals of those. I wanted to show you that you could see it both on the mapping diagram and on a graph. So we have the points already mapped here, and we're going to check it with the vertical line test because if they're already on a graph, this is the easiest test for a function. So 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, and one more. So this relation should be a true function. This one is a function. Let's look and see if when we use our mapping diagram, if it's the same thing. Remember, no input can go to 2 different outputs, right? So -2, on the graph, where did -2 go? -2 goes to 3. So we will draw that line to that arrow to 3. On the map, 1, and I'm reading the map from left to right. On the graph, 1 goes to 3. So let's go ahead and direct that to 3. The input or x equaling 2 goes to 1. That's an easy one. The input or x value for 3 goes to 0. Reading the map again from left to right because that's the order I would put my inputs in. And finally, the last one is the input of 4, and that also goes to 3. Now you're going to notice that 3 is the output 3 different times, but the output is from 3 different inputs. So that qualifies still as a function. It's if an input has 2 answers that are the same. So if that input goes to 2 of the same, if the input goes to 2 different outputs. So let's look at the one here. Let's do the vertical line test. That's our easiest test again. Running that across. And right here, I see it goes through 2 points. So this is not a function. This is false. Not a function. I'll even write no up here. Or maybe not. Not a function. All right, let's prove that and see how these two tests both work. So we should get not a function over here. Again, reading from left to right, our first point is -1. And -1, if I can grab one of my arrows here. My goodness. There we go. -1 is going to go to 2. This is a little pickier one. And our next point is going to be the +1. And on the graph, +1 goes to 3. Our next one, I might go up to the other arrow. That one's being kind of a pain. My clone's there. The next point is 2. And 2, oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong graph here. -1 went to 2. And then 1 went to 3, as I said, but it also went to 2. All right, when I was fighting with my arrows, I got mixed up which chart I was on. 2 is my next point, reading from left to right on the chart. 2 goes to 0. And finally, my last point would be 3 on the x-axis, and that goes to 4. Now, our mapping test says that we can have one input going to 2 different outputs. So we can see right here that 1, if we didn't have a graph, goes to 2 different outputs. That also proves that that is not a function.